biggest pop of the night.
So before the music cut out, hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of No Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast. I'm Bobby. That's Josh over here. It's kind of switched it up a little bit, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm in the baby face spot now. I'm the guy that's
I
going to
can
be
play
the
the heel.
positive.
I'll play the heel all freaking day, dude. Every time I see a clip of AEW, I'm like, I'm comfortable being the heel. I could just go and talk about AEW. We got cut off there because I hit the intro, and it kind of takes a little delay. But here comes the boom. Oh, gosh.
Listen,
who is that?
Listen,
who is it?
I don't know who these people are, but they're massively over. I don't go on TikTok. You know this. I don't do social media. They're huge. I was listening to some Wrestling Observer Radio, and they were going over the numbers about how that was the biggest clip, the boom stuff, got the most impressions, got the most social media presence. They were the most over on the pay-per-view. They had the biggest pop of the night by far. Maybe this is a good thing for the company. And that dude, the boom guy, I didn't know this until today. He actually used to be an independent wrestler.
Okay.
He did a power bomb, dude.
Like, who's that? Who's that? Is that his son?
Yeah, it's his son, Big Justice. Don't know who he is. Rizzler, don't know who this person is. I don't know these people. I'm just learning of them as they come into AEW. But it is what it is. They had a great pay-per-view. I heard it was great.
I will just say, on the other end of that, they're living out their dream. We do the same thing if we had the opportunity. So kudos to them to be able to be on that stage in front of that crowd. Shout out to them. Still crazy of AEW. I mean, I was like, I'm getting all the clips and everything because I do like to stay up to date. But I was like, who are these guys? I never knew where they came from.
I got it before this goes out of my head. Now, I learned today that he used to be an independent wrestler. Okay, perfect. AEW signs all of the independent wrestlers, and I'm not trying to be a joking guy right now. Who would you rather see on your television weekly? America, the nation, whoever I'm speaking, Tony, yourself, Commander, El Vikingo, Bull Toro, or the Boom? Who would bring you more revenue? Seriously, let's be realistic. Let's say this turns into a full-time gig for this guy. He's way more over than any of these little luchadors that he signed, or all Daniel Garcia even, who just won a freaking title. This guy's way over, and he's got independent background. You guys hire amateurs all the time. I'm not saying do it, but I think it would probably work out. It'd have its little Santino Marella run. That's all I'll say. It'll have its little Santino Marella run, and then you can get.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I like that. It's interesting. It's interesting. I had to ask because I wondered, what that was all about. And that's, you got to give AEW credit for that. They always leave you wondering, and it's like a car accident. You don't want to look at it, but you just keep doing it, just to check,
Hey, big props to QT Marshall. Great sell job on that spear. Like, he made them look like a.
Oh yes, for the kid, I did see the spear. Yes, shout out to him. Kid, shout out to the kid for getting to live his dream. It wasn't the best looking spear on his part, obviously, but for QT Marshall, beautiful. Loved it. Good sell job for sure. 100%. Best sell job of AEW history possible.
Look at us. We are positive today. You thought we were going to S on it. You thought you, the viewers, you guys thought I was going to be your neck. No, we're positive tonight. It's a Monday night. It's a beautiful night. Yeah. I'm putting good vibes into the air. I just need Lamar Jackson to score 30 points. So I'm just being as positive as I possibly can.
I'm happy. Dolphins have won 3 games straight. They're going to play on Thursday night. Maybe that ends there. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe we got hope. Maybe
they play on Thanksgiving night.
They play Thanksgiving night. Yep.
Dude,
yes, sir.
I hate Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving. It's my favorite holiday by far. It's my favorite. But I hate that I have to go to everyone's house and I can never enjoy football anymore because I have kids. Like before kids, it'd be like family, whatever. I'll see you guys later. Like, I'm watching football or whatever. Or I just stay at one person's house, like one family member's. But now we got to see Nana and Grandma and Joe and Uncle Bobby. And then I don't get to enjoy football anymore on Thursdays, on Thanksgiving. I just don't. because of kids.
Let me just say, because I've heard that before from other friends. They're like, oh, I was like, oh, did you watch the game? No, I was with my kids, my family. That doesn't happen here. My kids know, my family knows. Don't schedule anything, especially when the Dolphins are playing. Don't do it. It ain't go to work. I'm going to watch. And if I have to go somewhere, I'm watching the game. I just want to throw that out there. Before, after, of course now there's shows, so it's like, oh, I got to do the post game. Damn it, Dad! It's like give me an hour, son, an hour and a half. If Evan doesn't take over the whole show, we're good, son. But
I dig it.
Yeah, man. But anyway, let's get into this because we are. You said it before we even started. We're airing on Monday night. We're having our version of the Monday Night Wars, right? We'll see how.
We're the pre-show.
We're the pre-show. That's right. It's the preview show for Monday Night Raw. But man, gotta talk about SmackDown. I just want to touch on SmackDown very quick. What?
I'm saying that's a great idea. Like for any streamer, like a pre-show to go into Raw. Like who does that? Nobody. We all do post shows.
That's right.
Sorry, I'm just thinking out loud. Like,
yeah, I just saw the light go bulb. I should put a light bulb on your background for next time. Bing!
Right? You saw the idea manifest.
I just saw it. I was like, what just happened? But first off, man, talking about Raw, I'm gonna just go right to SmackDown. It was, I don't know how many times I was hearing screaming. I was doing, what show was I doing? I was doing East 10th Street Boys when SmackDown was on. Just like we had to reschedule for that one, so I had to do it Friday night, which I usually don't. And we were doing the check down before that. But so I could hear my kids screaming back and forth. And of course, I was watching as it was going on Twitter and seeing the clips. First off, Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, that exchange. Kevin Owens, first off, if he doesn't have a lot of time on the mic, you forget how damn good he is on the mic. That promo he cut is a masterclass for future wrestlers, current guys, the current wrestlers in the other company. Watch him. If you want to learn how to cut a promo that tells a story, listen to Kevin Owens. Because it made me so invested. Now it's the main event, I think, for Saturday night's main event, December 12th. I think that's what it's going to air. So that's that pay-per-view worthy type of match that you're going to get free on if you have cable. What did you think of Kevin Owens' promo, man?
No, you said it right on the head, man. He just sounds so natural when he speaks. We hear so much, and trust me, as we're small time guys, doing YouTube, couldn't imagine being in front of 18,000 people, right? Like I just did a PowerPoint presentation in my job in front of 30 people, and I was nervous. Imagine Kevin Owens just is so natural. So a lot of people go out there so stiff. They're worried about the words in their head. Oh, I got to remember the script. I don't think KO gets a script, or if he does, he's so good. He's like rips it up. All right, they'll forgive me later because I'll make this better. And he just goes out there and riffs, and he just talks. And the best thing I can appreciate about Kevin Owens is we see a lot of guys, whether it be MJF, who's great on the mic, MVP, who's great on the mic. All these guys that are great on the mic, they have to yell. They scream to get the crowd more invested, right? MJF, we don't get involved with him until he's screaming, Tony Khan, you mark, right? Then he's going off. Kevin Owens, he's having a conversation. You can hear how upset he is in his voice and how disgusted he is, and he can play with those emotions. He can go back and forth. And it's insane how he could just ad-lib. Like off the top of his head, he can go, he's up there with The Rock, with the greats, in my opinion, on the promo skills. So this one in particular with Cody, how can we look at this and say Kevin Owens is a bad guy?
I was just going to say, is he the heel here? Is anything he's saying, is it wrong?
Well, that's what makes him such a great promo, is because he's right. He's like Thanos. Thanos had a point.
Yeah.
And so does Kevin Owens. And so does every great heel. Every great heel has a purpose and a reason why they're doing this. And it's usually because they think they're right. Anyone in any walk of life, I can look at you, Bobby, and go, man, Bobby's a dirtbag. What a heel. But I know you, and I know you're not. But someone else could think it. You know what I mean? Everyone has this conception about everybody. He sees Cody as a prick, just like I've seen it for months and months and months, because he comes out with the suits, and he does this, and he teams with Roman. Some people don't think that. I just loved it. I loved everything. I love it all. and I just don't see this ending well for Kevin. Like he has to win a match, and maybe it's the unsanctioned non-title match. I don't know. We'll see. But he has to win. He can't keep on losing. I won't take him serious anymore.
Yeah, that's the sticky part right there, right? I mean, and uh and that's how I felt too, because it's like this right here, it would be a perfect time for a shock, to come out. Somewhere, maybe do they do it where he beats Cody to a point where they have to stop the match, and then you kind of save Kevin at that point from looking weak. You could do that, and that makes him look a lot deadlier, compared to just straight up being pinned on his back. And that could set up a match down the line, and that could set up a kind of a different type of Cody, a different Cody we saw after that promo and after that back and forth with Kevin is when he got backstage and he heard Carmelo Hayes and some of the group of guys siding with Kevin, and he said, "What did you and they got to a shoving, and it's kind of like you're kind of seeing the locker room turn on Cody.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very intrigued by that little plant, and I'm
Yep.
hoping it's kind of like a bloodline type of plant, not bloodline associated, but bloodline where you don't see the results right now,
Yep.
but it carries over time where something you go, oh, just like after what happened in the main segment at the end of the night, you go, holy crap, whoa, wait a second. There's some people going, this doesn't make sense. Well, if you were paying attention, it does make sense, So I'm just very intrigued where this, because obviously this could set up Kevin to go back to where he used to be on the very top as just a killer,
Yep.
and this could set up Cody to be more take him more seriously for people who don't as a champion, because obviously he's way over with the young fans and with fans, but some of us don't take him that seriously. This could set him up for that, especially with you see what's going on backstage with Hayes and company.
Yep.
Another thing I wanted to talk about was Jade Cargill. The whole segment backstage, she's beat to a bloody pulp. She's through the windshield. Before I give my thoughts on it, my son kind of like checked me a little bit because I told him what it was, and of course my 7-year-old and my 12-year-old were kind of like, wait, but Dad, wait. And Tristan kind of said, big brain. He goes, Dad, I got a big brain. Watch this. He sounds like, oh damn, you're right. But before that, what were your thoughts when you saw that? Like, what's the first thing you thought of when you saw Jade Cargill laid out like that?
Who did it? Like that's me. Who did it? I don't know the obvious answer. I don't know the obvious answer. Is there an obvious answer? Does everyone think it's Bianca?
Well, I think it's Bianca. What first came to my head as soon as I saw it, and Bianca's in the ring and she comes running out. The first thing I thought of was Triple H, Shawn Michaels. That's the first thing that popped in my head when Shawn Michaels got his head driven into the glass and the digitalized picture came out and it was Triple H. First thing I thought of. My son, because I told him, I was like, I think it was Bianca, and Trish was like, no, Dad. He goes, I got big brain. He goes, remember what Liv Morgan said on Raw? And I'm like, what did she say? When she told Bianca, you better watch out, or something like this. He goes, he never said he was coming after her. Could be after Bianca. I was like, okay, that makes sense. That's more obvious, but that makes sense. So it's interesting. I think for me, I probably would like it more if it's revealed that it's Bianca who did it.
Yeah.
Because I think Bianca would be a killer heel too. I mean, she has it written all over. She's perfect.
I would love for her to turn heel, but the thing is, will they do it? I mean, Jade is a natural heel. I'm surprised they're going this route. She's a natural heel. She's not likable. She's kind of like Cody. She's perfect. She's got the muscle. She's got the physique. She's got everything. She got the look. She's a very beautiful woman. People don't like that.
I gotta be careful. I got in trouble with my daughter because I was like, okay, Bianca, all right, see you. Not Bianca, Jade. When I was watching it, she was coming out, and my daughter was like, my oldest, I was like, wait, no, Mom. I was like, shut up, man. Like,
right, but so okay. Either way, if they do turn her babyface by this whole situation, which it looks like they will, she needs the heel. It's gonna be Bianca. Did you hear the backstages rumors of they don't like each other at all? They don't get along. There's problems back there. Yeah.
No, I didn't hear that.
That's been a problem with Jade her whole career, even AEW. So it looks like she's bringing it over there, which is unfortunate. Jade's just not a pleasant person in real life. I've understood, at least from people. But anyway, get on that. I just don't care, Bobby, about this whole feud. You know why?
Why?
Jade. And not just because of what I just said. What has she done ever in the WWE to make me think that she can even compete with Bianca Belair. The same woman that went toe to toe with the greats of Charlotte Flair, Bayley, Becky Lynch. Jade's just a rookie still, and she hasn't done anything. And I don't think they've really built her. They made her look important, but we've never seen her in a singles role where she's important. We've never seen her in a promo where she can cut a good promo, or she could work a singles match. We haven't seen that. Think about all of her matches, tag matches, Royal Rumbles, Battle Royals, triple threats, possibly. Maybe there's no one-on-one matches. Not interested, but I'm willing to wait because I'm being positive tonight. I'm being positive.
Yeah.
Hi guys. Hi.
Yeah, you were going this way, and then you came back.
I came back. You know why I came back?
I will say though.
Can I say one
Yeah.
thing before I let you talk?
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Here's the reason why I'm willing to let the babyface Jade and all this work. Because of what you said. I'm going to hand the ball to you. We want and need a Bianca heel turn. She is stale. And I think you can agree with me.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree with that 100%. And that's why, but that's why I think, because you're like, man, you know, I think point of it's like, can she handle a one-on-one between her and Bianca? Can it make it look good? But Bianca, I think, because of what Bianca has done and what she's been in, and she is good. Bianca's great in the ring.
Yes.
I think she could help carry that match. She could make Jade look really good, and that could set Jade up for future. Now, I agree. Even though, but see, here's the thing. Who needs it more? Who needs that heel turn more? And you just said it. Bianca needs that more because it gives her something fresh. If she's the good one and it's Jade who turns on her, what is that going to do for either one? Because, you know, I think it serves them both, where Jade is the face and Bianca's the heel. Because Jade could come off looking really good, and while Bianca looks great as a heel, Jade will come off really good looking as a face going against a Bianca. And, you know, again, Bianca might help carry that match, making Jade look good in the ring.
Third option. I don't know the brackets of this women's championship, the United States one. I don't know the brackets. But I do have a feeling someone's turning heel very soon. And this is the third option. In case I don't know if they're in the same bracket at all. Naomi has to turn heel. Naomi has to turn. I think Naomi's winning this whole thing. I think she's winning the tournament. Now, if she's in a possible triple threat match with Jade in there, I don't know. Like I said, I have not been paying attention to the women's United States title match. But if Naomi's in there, she could take out Jade and easily win that matchup so she can move forward. I think Naomi's, ever since she lost to Bayley in that world title match, remember? And Naomi was really upset about it. That's when I'm like, oh, Naomi's turning heel. They started this months ago. Naomi's going to turn on Bayley. Naomi's a bad person. I hope, because she needs it too, just like Bianca does. Where do you know? I'm going to look it up. I'll look it up.
So, yeah, I'm gonna look it up now. That's what I was doing. But I saw.
Oh, you were?
Fightful Select is reporting that Cargill is written off TV because of an no, you're good, because of an undisclosed injury. That's why she was written off. Cargill was replaced in both WWE United States title tournament and the women's war game match. She'll be replaced. Let me see if I could find the bracket.
Yeah, I was trying to find that too.
And is this it here? So here we go. So Bayley, Candice LeRae, I think Bayley won that. Bayley and Chelsea Green won. Jade Cargill will be replaced. Minchin, Piper Niven, Naomi, Tiffany Stratton, Elektra Lopez. So first off, Chelsea Green winning, Bayley winning. I love that.
Yes.
I'm cool. When we talked about Bayley being the US champion and how that might help solidify that title as something important, but also talked about Chelsea Green winning that title and helping her in her run, because she can't be, she doesn't have a place in the women's title reign. So a US title reign for her character would be great. So I'm cool with that. I don't know who's going to replace Jade Cargill at this point. I don't know if that's been announced yet. I don't think it has. But Piper Niven, Minchin, I guess they're going to have a triple threat next week. And then Naomi, Stratton, and Lopez. I'm with you. I think Stratton does not need it because she's going to be the Money in the Bank. Mm-hmm. Something could happen there. I think Naomi winning, and then
oh my gosh,
who between what, you just had something pop in your head again?
Oh my gosh, What if
Uh-oh.
what if she's back? What if the robot's back? What if she wants to win the US title cuz she wants to be just like daddy and win all the titles? Oh my
Okay.
goodness. Oh
Okay.
my god. I'm having a
Okay.
panic attack here. We're getting close to Royal Rumble. We're getting close to Survivor Series, big pay-per-views. Holy crap. She's coming back.
Talk about solidifying the legitimacy of the women's US
Oh,
title. If you were to put it on the living legend, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, Charlotte Flair. If she was replaced, and she's just been teasing it on Twitter. That's a great idea, man. I'm with you. I'd be down with that.
dude, that would be a disaster. That would be
I would not be a
that would
disaster.
be so
Come
bad.
on.
That'd be so bad. I'd be
What?
so because we're building these stories and just like she does. Daddy, can you give me a title shot?
That has nothing to do with Ric Flair. Unless
Oh yeah, let me talk to Trips. I got it, bro. We used to be cool in Evolution.
oh man. That I don't hate it. If that's you threw that out there, not me. I mean honestly, talk about
It's
talk
too
about Bailey legitimizing the title, and even Naomi. Naomi's one who could legitimize that title as well, being a former champion, and that would give her a good run, and a heel turn would be great for her too. Something fresh would be great. But a Charlotte Flair, I don't know if she'd get thrown in that right away, but
Did Bianca
that would be
already
very
lose?
interesting. Because then, let's say Charlotte did get in there, what would you be more interested in seeing? Because again, let's say if Charlotte was to win and then she would have beat Naomi, would you rather see her first? Is it Green or Bailey? It'd be Bailey, right? That would be the better match. That would be an
Yeah.
epic match for the U.S. title.
Yep.
I mean, to set that off.
Mhm.
So that would be main event. Okay, Saturday night main event. The title will be decided. I like the card so far for main event. Saturday night main event.
Yeah, I'm
Hopefully they
gonna
stick
watch
with
it.
it.
I'll watch that. I remember when it first was announced. You're like, "Are you gonna watch it?" I'm like, "No," because those Saturday night shows, especially from the AEW side, title changer Tuesday or whatever they call them. What they used to call them something about title.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and they were just nonsense matches. You'd be like Roddy Strong versus Mystico for the ROH television title. Like that's so I'm being conditioned that Saturday Night Wrestling is so bad. Why would I watch Saturday Night Main Event? But now they're loading this card up. It's like a pay-per-view. It's
That's right.
legit a pay-per-view. So I'll definitely be watching live.
Point
For
to this
sure.
show, obviously, what they're doing is to draw eyes, and they're doing that by putting again. They're gonna decide who the United States champion is for the women's title. You got
Yep.
Cody versus Kevin, and again, Saturday Night Main Event used to be just that. It used to be like it was a pay-per-view type of card for I mean, you go back on the WWE Network or Peacock or wherever you watch them. You type in Saturday Night Main Event. I mean, you're watching pay-per-view quality shows. That's where WWE kind of lacked but then when they brought it back, they had for the first few weeks they had that type of show, and then kind of killed itself off. Hopefully they stick with that type of show on a Saturday where they mix it up a little bit. And then finally, go ahead.
I just want to wrap up the women's thing. I do eventually think it's going to be Bailey and Naomi, and Naomi's going to win at the end. Cheating. She's going to cheat.
That way she could kind of set that off.
Just because she's been so down and she hasn't won anything since she's been back, and she feels disrespected. I think she's gonna turn on Bailey, which is okay. I think it's good.
Okay. All right. I wouldn't be shocked though, the wild card. I think that's the way it's gonna go. I agree with you, unless you have that shocker where you're saying, like, hey, maybe somehow Charlotte gets put in here because of the injury. But the wild card here for me is Chelsea Green. I think if she beats Bailey and then goes against whoever is the next opponent at the main event, I think she has a strong chance of coming out the winner. Because then if it's Naomi versus Chelsea Green, Naomi's not going heel at that point, right? There's no way she could go heel against Chelsea Green.
No, here's another option. There's so many options. That's a good thing about WWE. There's so many options. Listen to this one. Bianca. I don't know if Bianca's already been eliminated. I'm assuming she has.
Yeah, she was in the triple threat with.
She can tell Nick Aldis, "Oh, that's my partner. I got her."
Oh, she gets back in. She gets
back in. She wins. Jade, you didn't check on me and said you were winning my title. You were taking my opportunity. Boom. I don't know. There's so many things you can do. I'm not saying that's going to happen.
Yeah, no, right there. It's true. I mean, there's so many different. You could look at this bracket And I mean, and just again, I I could upload it, but anyway, maybe next episode, depending, I don't know. But it's just interesting. You could go so many ways with this thing. But
So
let's move on to like the main segment and what was an amazing segment with the Bloodline 2.0, the OG Bloodline and 2.0 Bloodline. It started off the night where they're trying to figure out who's going to be with him, who's going to be with the OG Bloodline. Again, full disclosure, I wish it was just 4-on-4. You could do 4-on-4, right? But for whatever reason, WWE wants to do 5-on-5. The Bloodline, Roman, Triple H, they want to do a 5-on-5. Fine, okay. So, we talked about Seth Rollins last week, and I love that. Even though it would have made sense, it would have been cool to see Seth and Roman on the same side for a little while. And then obviously the eventual turn at the end. I love that Seth stuck to his guns. I love that they didn't do it because it's like, okay, it's gotten to that point where Seth was like, I don't care how much they beat me up. I'm not going to join you. I'm done with you. Even though Seth is the heel of that story between Roman and Seth. And that's a whole other discussion. I don't know why Seth's all butthurt when Seth's really the bad guy in that whole story since the beginning. Anyway.
You're not wrong.
I know. So, I mean, if it's like, hey, man, I'm sorry about what we did. I still got your back. Oh, okay, never buddies again. No, I'm never going to side with Roman. It's like, when the hell did you become,
Mr.
the good guy here?
Yeah,
what the hell? But anyway, they talk, and Roman's like, I'm not teaming with Seth. We could do this on our own. So it's be 4-on-5. And then you have the eventual stare off. And all of a sudden you hear, ladies and gentlemen, and here comes the mega pop, and what we all were expecting. I mean, and he can't even say his name. Everybody says it for him. Even it broke Roman. Roman started smiling. That's what's so cool. And here it comes. He goes 5-on-5. And out comes CM Punk. Now, for those who haven't watched our show, we talked about that a long time ago. It's the first thing I thought of when I saw it, Josh, was that you and I were discussing, it was easy to kind of read between the tea leaves that the OG Bloodline was getting together. But remember, one of the scenarios we talked about was, what if they didn't? Because it makes sense for a Sami Zayn or a Jey Uso to go, I'm not teaming with you. Basically what Seth did. And okay, then how would they do this War Games match? All right, Roman and the Paul Heyman guys. And we talked about CM Punk. We talked about Brock Lesnar. Well, here it goes. CM Punk comes out. He puts on his tape, doesn't even think about it, doesn't stare, doesn't do anything, walks right into that ring, walks past Roman, and starts going to town on the Bloodline. The crowd is popping. It comes off really good. They do their double finishers. They're standing in the ring. I don't know if this aired on TV because I saw it after. I did not see this part. Was when Paul Heyman, who's wearing really Solo Sikoa's kind of gear up, which is kind of interesting to me. But he's standing on the ropes. He's doing his little Paul Heyman evil stare, what he does, and Roman, and he's going like this at Roman, Roman looks at him and goes, that's my wise man. And Punk says, we'll see. So those little bit of things that if you're watching, and people were saying, oh, this doesn't make any sense. Well, yes, it does. Again, Punk being the OG Paul Heyman guy. And when Roman wasn't showing up for Paul and CM Punk was there and Paul said, can you take me with you? And there's these little things. Love this segment. I'm absolutely okay with CM Punk because even though I'm not okay with the 5-on-5, these two don't need to be here, but they're not doing anything for Survivor Series. So if you are going to put somebody there, CM Punk is fine because of his relationship with Paul. And then again, this could set up a possible Roman versus CM Punk right after, the battle for Paul Heyman, etc. Very interesting. I loved it. I'm cool with it. If you're going to do 5-on-5, Punk and Bronson Reed, I'm down with. What do you say, man?
This is so next level. This is beyond next level storytelling that the people that don't like it or they don't understand it. It's not only forwarding the Bloodline OG versus the Bloodline new story with Paul Heyman. Months ago, they had the CM Punk interaction, which led up to this moment. not only is Paul Heyman and those who are us, my wise man, we'll see for now, whatever. Paul Heyman's in a different outfit, something he's not used to wearing. He's got a little bit different look in his eye, and all this is happening. But the bigger story with CM Punk is brewing as we speak. He took someone's spot, and he's going to rub it in his face because you weren't good enough to team with Roman. That's why you didn't do it. Don't worry. Paul had to come to get me to do it, Seth. And this is going to lead into WrestleMania where they're going to have their match. I took care of Bronson Reed. I took care of the bloodline. You couldn't do it. You were afraid. Seth is going to drive him crazy. We know how Seth has that ego. We know Seth is a crazy person. He's going to go back to heel, where CM Punk's going to be the babyface, and they're going to have their program, and it's going to be awesome. I think I am looking forward to this program more than any program in wrestling today. I'm looking forward to CM Punk and Seth Rollins. I could not imagine saying that in 2024, but here we are. I cannot wait. So that's happening right there. And then on the back burner, they're teasing the battle for freaking Paul Heyman. That's going to happen even later down the road. There's so many stories being told in this one little 15-minute segment. In this 15 minutes of television, told more story in one full month of AEW. And that's, and the people that don't, it doesn't make sense, Bobby. Bobby, why would they do this? Because they're not thinking, because they're used to short-term storytelling with Vince and with Tony. They're not used to this Triple H masterclass. And that's what it is. I'm sorry if I'm gushing too much, but this was perfect. This is why I watch pro wrestling.
Yeah, and I'm with you. And that's why, again, week after week, month after month, year after year, it's crazy to say that the Bloodline storyline continues to be the best storyline on TV in wrestling and could go down as the greatest storyline in WWE history just because of what you're saying right there. And that's because right now, if you got your blinders on, you're only looking at OG versus new Bloodline, OG Bloodline, but you're not looking at the other stories that are being planted down the line, and again, I don't fully trust the OG Bloodline. I have a feeling that it's going to splinter as soon as War Games is over. They're not going to stick together. I can't see it. I just feel like it's just going to continue to break. It's going to make an interesting thing. And you look at Sami Zayn again. Here's another one. We got killer Kevin Owens on the other side there dealing with Cody. KO is aligned. Why is Kevin Owens going after Cody now? Because he sided with Roman. What's his best friend doing right now? He's after Cody. Roman beat the hell out of him, and that's what broke Sammy to finally defend Kevin. Killer Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, WrestleMania. There's just story after story, little seeds being planted. I'm looking at it, I'm going, this is what you could put on an amazing flippity flop match in the ring, but if you don't have a story, it ain't gonna mean a goddamn thing, and that's what WWE shows, because you could have a great back and forth, and then you go in the ring and it's like, what a dud. Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso at WrestleMania. I know they want to do it part 2 because they felt really underwhelmed. Everybody did watching that. We all had expected a better match. It wasn't. You could put a dud and have a good story. But what really makes wrestling important is the story. And that's, again, Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. Again, I know that's a whole other ballpark, but that's another seed that I was like, oh, dude, that's going to go down. That's what we're setting up there.
It has to.
It's going to be WrestleMania 41, right? That's what's coming up next is 41. It's going to be freaking off the, you thought WrestleMania 40, Cody versus Roman part 2 and all that was great. WrestleMania 41, so many loose ends are going to be tied up, and other stories are going to come off of that because it's not over. It's just going to keep going, and it's going to all feed off the damn bloodline, which is crazy. And Roman's going to be sitting there at the top of the hill.
And I want you guys all to remember this when I say this right here. You too, Bobby. You guys wanted your Seth and Roman stare down or interaction. We'll get it. We're going to get that. Seth's not going to be off this card. Seth's not going to be away from Survivor Series. He will be involved.
He's going to be in. Yeah, he's going to be dealing with some. He'll be involved somehow. I just don't know, because Bronson Reed is in this match, and Bronson.
He's not coming for Bronson.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. Him and Bronson has this story going on. Also, you just cut it, and they just beat the hell out of Seth.
I don't know what's gonna happen, but he's
Do
gonna
you
get
think? Do you
physical
think?
with CM Punk.
Okay, maybe he cost the OG Bloodline the match.
I've not put any predictions out there yet,
I
but I
know,
will
but now
say
that you're saying
he's
that, I'm
going
like,
to be curb stomping CM Punk. What happened last Survivor Series?
yeah,
Seth Rollins was stood up or upstaged by CM Punk. That
yeah.
was 1 year ago in the making. You don't think they've been booking this for Seth to get his revenge?
Take note. Long-term storytelling. Everybody, I want to see it, man. Finish this already. Just sit back and enjoy the show. Just shut up.
Yes.
Enjoy the show.
Hey, when I sit down and watch Transformers, do I want Optimus Prime to win within 15 minutes of the show or the movie? Then what are we gonna do?
So
It's a long story. Sorry.
it's so no, you're damn right. This is first off, I don't know if you are, and then maybe we had some, but Star Wars. I'm a Star Wars fan. Love Star Wars.
Yeah.
So I went to film school, and so it's kind of like wrestling fans.
Did you?
I did. Yeah, we went at Full Sail University. Yeah.
I'm messing with you.
Oh, you're familiar? Oh, okay.
It's gonna be one of those things where you say it all the time, and because I say this one story all the time, and Wingate always gets me, and I'm like, God
No, I didn't say it all the time. Did I?
at least 50% of the shows, but it's all right. You went to film school.
Well, anyway, the point being is that since being doing that, being with other films when they were in film school, a lot of these film students they criticize the hell out of movies. They just don't enjoy movies. And now, of course, with the uptake of social media and everything, you see wrestling. Nobody can just enjoy wrestling anymore. No one can just enjoy a movie anymore. It has to be all these big critiques. It's they should have done this, they should have done that, they should have done that. I sit back and I just enjoy it. I enjoy the story. Is there things I would have changed? 100%. There's some things that I would have. Sure. Like again, the latest Star Wars movie when Palpatine came back and whatever. Just bring it.
The very last one.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the name. If it's the Last Jedi, no, that was.
Oh my goodness.
Rise of Skywalker. Rise of Skywalker.
My friends just started watching those. They finished them all within a week. I told them this because they asked me, where should I start? I said, start with the originals, then go back in time, and you're going to hate life for those 3 nights in a row. But it's fine. No, 2.5 nights in a row because the very end of the third episode 3 was good. Great.
Yes, it was.
Very good. So 1 and 2 suck. I said, once you get to the newer ones, the Disney ones, you're going to hate 7 because it's just a remake of A New Hope.
It is.
You're going to be super bored with 8. And I said, I didn't even watch 9. Bobby, I didn't even watch 9, so you're spoiling everything for me.
Am I okay to keep talking about it?
Yeah, because you know why? It probably sucked.
Okay, so a lot of people said it did. For me, I just sit back and enjoy because I love the story. Because Palpatine comes back, and of course, I popped. Go figure, right? I popped because I love the heels, dude.
Yeah.
Palpatine's the legit dude.
Yeah, OG.
He is, right? I mean, and he's so damn good that Ian McDermott, the actor, is amazing. But anyway, he shows up, whatever, and then he doesn't. He tells Kylo Ren, hey, kill Rey, blah blah blah, and he doesn't do anything. I mean, he kind of appears briefly throughout the movie a little bit until the end, and they have this ultimate showdown. I always said what I would have done is have him beat the hell out of them in the beginning, have Palpatine get full power again at the very beginning of the movie or towards the beginning, and then you kill him towards the end. You would have made a better story. It would have made a lot more sense. So, point taken is that, like you were saying, you don't want Optimus Prime to win right away. You want him to get his ass kicked and then come back from it. Same type of scenario, But
I've never seen a Transformers movie in my life. Never. That's the first thing that popped in my head. Does that look like a movie I would watch? Like, seriously, come on. I'm better.
I don't really watch them. I don't watch them. I'm intrigued by the cartoon one that just came out just for my kids, my son. Okay. So I like watch it for that, but I have not watched those movies.
I haven't watched a movie. Like a movie. I couldn't tell you, honestly.
Ready to Rumble?
That was years ago.
Yeah, but you watched that one, right?
Yeah, I've seen that. I mean, I'm a movie guy, dude. There was a time. Remember that thing, Movie Pass?
Yes.
I had it before people knew about it. I had it years before people knew about it. So I went to movies, Bobby, 7 days a week. I'm not even joking. So I was a cinephile too. So I get what you mean by, oh, this sucks or whatever. I was that dude. I was such a douchebag going on Rotten Tomatoes, giving it was, But now that I'm like, don't watch movies anymore, when I finally do watch one, it's the greatest movie of all time.
Well, just sit back and enjoy the story.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, at the end you go, I would have done this differently. Like, Godfather 3. If you watch Godfather 1 and 2, you're going to hate part 3.
Oh yeah.
I just sit back and enjoy the story. Yeah, there's some things I would have done different, but still, it's Godfather. Just enjoy it. You know.
I wish I could think of the last movie I watched. I'm being serious. That's depressing to me.
Yeah, I like movies.
When's the last movie you watched?
The last movie I watched.
Like not with your kids. Like I've had SpongeBob the Bikini Bottom movie on like multiple times, but like it doesn't count. I'm like you wanted to go watch a movie. There's been 3 times in the past 2 weeks where I started Deadpool and Wolverine, and I press play. And
That's the next one I will watch.
But I just stop it.
Really,
I have access to it, and it's on my video on demand. It's just every time I press play, I can think of something else I could do.
So I watched part 1 of that. I gotta watch part 2 because I think I have to watch part 2 before I watch that one. But yeah, I can't even think of it. To be honest with you, I watch a lot of shows.
All right, what's a movie that you will for movie talk here? But I'm really I like. We'll get into our top 5 wrestling listeners.
Yeah, we'll get there.
What's the number 1 movie that was if it's on? You're scrolling through TNT, whatever. You get like, I gotta stop and watch this. I have an answer.
Godfather.
Okay.
Godfather. Yeah. Oh.
Tombstone. No matter what point.
I don't have it here. I have it put away. I do. I had 2 pictures here hanging up all the time. Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday. That's my favorite Western movie is Tombstone.
It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
When I went to the Pawn Star shop, I told them if I hit tonight, I'm coming back. They had a big thing signed by Val Kilmer. It was a huge thing of like a 8x10 with like one of his like prop guns in it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I win tonight, it's like $300. I almost bought it on the spot, but I wanted to go gamble. I'm a huge Tombstone guy, but
oh, dude, it's a great movie. I love that movie. That's the series. We're not. No, that's not the series. But the series we're watching right now is we're trying to finish it. I'm kind of like getting put off by it, but it's Yellowstone. Just because I love Tombstone was the one that got me into westerns, and this one's not really a western. I would say it's current, but that's
is that on Paramount Plus?
Yes, yeah. I'm watching on YouTube TV. The first season or 2 are great, but it starts to kind of die out a little bit. The drama,
as most do.
Yeah,
as most do.
But anyway, let's get into wrestling. It. Let's get back to wrestling. We'll have our next show on Movie Talk. That's our next show. So top 5 title changes in wrestling history. And that's our main topic for tonight. You brought this up last week and you're like, hey dude, let's just keep it at 5, which I thought was great, made it easier, but also kind of made it harder because you could just, but what was interesting is at first I had it just straight up world titles and not much is that have changed. But when you were like, no, wait, this is all titles. And I was like, that's great. Because I started thinking, and I just wanted to bring up, and then we talked about, is it things that we saw? Was it matches that we did? Can we talk about other matches? And you said, let's keep it ones we saw, which I thought was great. So I was like, honorable mentions. First off, because I started researching, and I consider myself a wrestling history buff. I do love going back, and Ron Simmons winning the WCW title, one of the most shocking, right? I mean, This is not on my list. Nothing I saw live, but I saw later. So freaking cool looking back. So unheard of, and it just tells you, we know him as Farouk. Not even current fans because he hasn't been around, but our generation would know him as Farouk. Yep. But Ron Simmons is a legitimate legend in professional wrestling. He's a world champion when there were no Black African American world champions at that point. He did it. I mean, that was, and if you go back and you watch that, legitimate get goosebumps because it's like what? Because remember Kofi won, and you got that video of MVP and my goodness, I'm forgetting his name now. He's a he's a hero in real life, but a former wrestler. But anyway, their emotional reactions to it. That's what he did, but he did it in a different time. Now it's different. It's kind of more like that. So that's really cool.
Awesome.
China IC championship. She's the only. I think she is the only. No, wait, is she? She's the only woman to ever win the IC title, a men's title. She won it. That's a shocking win. That was cool. That is cool. Jericho beating Triple H. We talked about it last week for the WWF title. Was the roll up? It was only 30 minutes. That was shocking. Those are what we're talking about. But even it's not things that we love. That's something that's great too. Is ones that we hated, but it's still kind of like, wait, what? And I'll tell you what, the truth is, looking at it, probably one thing I didn't really like, and on this list, other ones I'm cool with. But I did get a sneak peek of yours, and so I know you don't like most of them. But
No, I think 2 of them are negative, 3 are positive.
I know what the negatives ones are.
Oh, do you? I don't know. We'll see.
So, we'll put the list. I do have the lists up, but we'll say them after we go through them, and then we'll do the recap very quick before we wrap this up. But number 5, which do you want to go ahead and start?
Yeah, I'll start. So mine was back in WrestleMania. I don't have my notes in front of me. Put me on the spot there.
Oh, I can put your list up if you'd like.
No, I got it right. It's right here, but I just wanted to give the actual when it was. Okay, WrestleMania 32. It was an Intercontinental title ladder match with, I believe it was 5 future Hall of Famers, and those guys being, I think it was Stardust, Cody Rhodes, if you didn't know, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, The Miz, and there was one other guy who was a Hall of Famer in that match, and then Sin Cara. And then Zack Ryder actually won the Intercontinental title in the ladder match. And this meant so much to me because I was such a Zack Ryder fan from the start. Woo, 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 right? I watched the Long Island T show on WWE.com. He was the first wrestler to actually do social media and to actually get involved. He was the social media champion, so we're all behind him. So when he won that title, to me, I'm like, holy, they did it? Like, they did it. They actually let this guy hold their legit awesome championship. Unfortunately, they took it away the very next night. The Miz beat him the very next night on Raw. But it was cool because Cody and him are best friends in real life, so I didn't know that at the time. So it's cool that Stardust was in the ring with him while it happened. The Miz is really good friends with him as well. So it's really cool. Like, I bet you they're all like, come on, Vince. Like, come on. We all want him to win something. Come on, Vince. And that was back in the time when Vince was booking for himself. Oh, yeah. They don't work for me. Like, whatever. So it was really cool to see them all get him over. And that was a good moment for me. I loved it.
And another shout out to honorable mention, The Miz winning the WWE title from Randy Orton. That was a shocking win a while back. That's not on nobody's list, but I just throw it out there since you brought up The Miz. Number 5 for me is JBL beating Eddie Guerrero for the WWE title at Judgment Day, and one of the most violent matches of all time. Eddie Guerrero, first of all, was at the height of his career. Everybody loved him as the WWE champion. He beat Kurt Angle multiple times, had an epic match at WrestleMania. JBL we just talked about Ron Simmons, had broken up APA. He left the APA. He became this character because they didn't have, everybody was injured. All the top heels were injured. They needed a heel. And so they created JBL, Mr. Wall Street. And JBL at that point, he was a tag team division mid-card guy. Yep. Nobody thought, his character, he went to Mexico. People hated him. He was making comments. He gave Eddie Guerrero's mom a heart attack. He had legit heat, but nothing to the point that, and I loved it. I was like, this dude is old school. I love this guy. But I had no inkling that he was going to win. There was no way he could beat Eddie Guerrero. I thought he was one of those, what Cody does most of it with his opponents. Just, let's put him in there. Let's give Eddie an opponent, set him up for the next show. No, they have one of the most violent matches. It was a Texas bull rope match at Judgment Day. He hit Eddie with a chair. Eddie was split, was gushing down blood. It was one of the craziest matches, but they still had a crazy story match, a match that told the story, and it ended up actually beating Eddie Guerrero, which set him up for a monster run as the champion until WrestleMania, right? It was WrestleMania against John Cena. That's how long he held the title. That's crazy. So that for me is my number 5, JBL over Eddie.
It's a good one. That's a good one. And, if you took a break from wrestling, and like, I kind of did this with Edge. I took a break, and then Edge was kind of like getting up there to the upper card. I'm like, wait a minute, that guy's a tag team guy. What's he doing there? Like, I like Edge, but come on, I like Edge, but it's like, you're not a main eventer. Same thing with JBL. They made that jump, and it was actually these titles. That's important about these titles, guys, that we're talking right here. We're talking about title changes. One shocking title change can change your life. Like, it can elevate you from a Jinder Mahal to a big time Jinder Mahal, but then you got to actually hold the ball and run with it. But we're not talking Jinder Mahal. We're talking my next guy, Unfortunately, this is a bad one. We have Goldberg versus The Fiend, 2020 in Saudi Arabia, Super Showdown. We just talked about how JBL got this momentum, this huge push to the top with this unexpected win. So Vince decides, hey, let's put this title on this new character, The Fiend, that people love. People are, who was more over than The Fiend, Bobby, at that time in 2020? Nobody, right? So here's a great idea. We're going to bring in this 60-year-old dude who can't wrestle, and he's going to spear The Fiend 3 times. I just watched it today. He's going to spear The Fiend 3 times, pin him 1, 2, 3. The crowd's going to go dead. We're going to have Goldberg bury your biggest draw, and that's what we're going to do. And then The Fiend never recovered. It was one of the worst decisions of all time. I bet you were even shocked by this. Maybe not, because I'm not saying that because you're a big Goldberg guy. No disrespect, but I'm sure you had to be shocked by this. What were they thinking? Bray Wyatt, the talent was in your hand, and you said, you know what? And this isn't the first. We'll get there. Goldberg has buried 2 bodies in Saudi Arabia, and that's the first one. That's not the first one. That's the second one. We'll get to the first one later. It's unreal.
So yeah, I can't argue with that. I'm not going to say the next one, or because I'll say this one. I agree with you because of what the Fiend was. Now, first off, WWE totally misused the Fiend. I just wish Triple H was in Triple H's time frame, because that would have been a different beast. I mean, you think of the Seth Rollins Hell in the Cell match, you think of this match with Goldberg. Like, I'm trying to think what the follow up to that was. When he won the title, who did he lose it to eventually? I don't remember. No, Goldberg.
Goldberg, probably Brock Lesnar.
Oh, the Brock Lesnar was the other one. I think was the Fastlane one.
Then was it Roman? No, because Roman and them never wrestled.
He never wrestled because he got sick, right?
Yeah, they were supposed to go to WrestleMania.
Yeah, it was Braun Strowman or Drew McIntyre, I think, or no, Braun Strowman, I think. But either way, so there was no point to this. I'm trying to remember what the point was. I'm not going to spoil the next one, but but I don't know what the point was to that. And I mean, I guess there could have been a way you could have done it to make it look better. I mean, because the Fiend, I mean, he has, like, you think of like what the Undertaker could have done that with the Fiend, and how great could you have made the Fiend look strong if you would have had him beat under, especially when if Goldberg went for the spear, you catch him and then you do the Sister Abigail, you could have done something like that, but they didn't. They kind of made an overkill and you kind of killed your character. But to me, I don't know if Vince didn't really like the Fiend. That's the kind of the vibe I get. I don't think he really liked the Fiend in spite of the sales. Maybe he just didn't feel it. Maybe he thought it was an Undertaker ripoff, because if you look at how the Fiend was handled when it comes to matches, it was horrible. Mm-hmm. I mean, it just, and I hate the dark rings. That probably was a Bray Wyatt call. Maybe he was like, but they should never have done that. I hate those when I watch Fiend matches. So, that was just total misuse. I'm going to stick with Goldberg, my number 4.
Oh, okay.
But it's one we've discussed on before, but it's one that, again, just talking about Goldberg in his prime, undefeated WCW champion. There were times where you could have been like, man, he should have dropped it to DDP at Halloween Havoc. That would have made more sense. That probably would have meant greater impact. But Kevin Nash defeats him at Starrcade 98. Never saw that coming. Kevin Nash obviously was very popular back then. He had the Wolf Pack. He, even though he was quote unquote a heel, he wasn't really a heel. Nobody took him as a heel. Never expected Goldberg to lose to Kevin Nash at that point, even as a kid. But to do so, and especially in that fashion, was shocking to me. Obviously, there was no real payoff. Yeah, you hear it.
You said shocking, so I thought you were doing it as a.
Yeah, no pun intended. But yeah, so Kevin Nash defeating Goldberg at Starrcade 98 for the WCW title, especially in that fashion, the way it was done, was not a clean victory. It was shocking. It was Goldberg. Again, I think he should have lost it to DDP. I think that would have been better. I think it would have meant something more. But losing it to Kevin Nash, again, was Kevin Nash was Kevin Nash a bad choice? To be a champion? No, because how hot he was in regards of popularity, but just there was no payoff. I mean, it didn't mean much more, because you gave it to Hogan the next night in the finger poke of doom, which could have been a shock. That's another shocking title change the night before. That's on my honorable mention. so was not on my list. You probably thought so.
No,
Right. Send me that message.
I didn't send you a message. You read it the way you decide to read it.
You know what you did.
That's just the way.
That's a little plant storyline. You know what you did. I saw you.
People read into what I say. It's not. That's on you. I'm just typing words.
Okay.
All right. I don't. When you have that narrative in your head when you read someone's text message. When you read your wife's, it's like my wife. That's how I read it. That's how you read mine now. Apparently, I'm whatever. It's cool. It's fine.
All right.
So anyway.
Number three,
we're staying with the same person. This is a hat trick. Seems like this guy's on this list a lot. And list is coming up in this topic because there was someone very over. And I mean very over. There wasn't a gimmick as over as the list. And that had to do with Kevin Owens when he was the world champion. And Chris Jericho was his sidekick. And they ran WWE at that time. That was one of Chris Jericho's greatest gimmicks of all time. And Kevin Owens was benefiting off of the list in the Annoying Friendship and the Festival of Friendships. This is actually when Chris Jericho decided he was going to leave WWE because of this booking decision from Vince McMahon himself. This is why Chris Jericho, this was what he said. When Goldberg in 2017 beat Kevin Owens for the Universal Championship, that ruined everything. Again, another young, big star on the rise with one of the greatest WWE legends of all time, doing one of the greatest gimmicks, the list of all time, setting up for a Festival of Friendship, which was one of the greatest angles of all time, one of the greatest turns of all time. Hey, where's my name on the list? But that would have gone into WrestleMania for the Universal title, something we were invested in all freaking year. And you threw it all away because Bill Goldberg. And Bill Goldberg buried Kevin Owens, and that was the end of that. And then you know what happened? Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens' story died. They went second at WrestleMania, and that's Chris Jericho's last WrestleMania, and he never returned because of Goldberg. And it just drives me nuts. And this isn't top 5 angry ones. This is so shocking to me because at the Rocket Pack that Kevin Owens was on to the moon, and that gimmick was major. All Jericho had to do was this. And we all know what was going to happen in that gimmick. Everyone was looking forward to that spot, that story. It'd be like setting up Cody Rhodes in a big match, heading towards Randy Orton, and all of a sudden Goldberg wants to have the title. So, hey, Goldberg, just go beat Cody, and then Randy and Cody could do their story with nothing. That wasn't the story. You guys messed it up because of Goldberg. And that was an alteration. That was a mess. It was penciled in. Jericho, Owens, world title, Mania. That's what we were going to see as fans. We didn't get it. Got Goldberg.
I get your point. I don't want to blame Goldberg. I'd blame Vince McMahon.
Stop. It's Goldberg.
Come on.
Every time he comes back, he has to win a title. Like
that's
every
Vince
single
McMahon.
time.
You think Goldberg comes in and goes, listen, it doesn't work for me, brother. You think he has that type of deal with Vince McMahon?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, because he said it himself. I want to be a hero for my son. I want the son to see me win a world title. Legit, go back and listen to him. That's what he said. During that time, during the Kevin Owens time.
Okay. But that set up the WrestleMania between him and Brock Lesnar. That seems like the bigger title match. I mean, that's Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar for the championship.
You just lost a legend. He left. Jericho's never returned.
Yeah, and WWE. How's WWE?
Hey! I mean, let's have a real talk about this real quick. If Jericho never left and was in WWE, he would still be doing great things because he'd be under direction. Every talent, every special wide receiver or quarterback, they need a coach, right? We're seeing that with Baker Mayfield. You could be as talented as you want, but unless you have that coaching and direction, Jericho, that's what they're suffering
under Triple H. You think he would be killing?
Even under Vince, they would have been good. Even under Vince, he would have been good because he was good under Vince. So these people need to be managed. And look at Sasha. It's all when you give someone too much freedom, whether it be a talent in WWE, an actor, an athlete, they all think they're better than what they were because they have massive egos, which they should.
Mm-hmm.
But they need to understand you're not that good. And you do need direction from leadership.
Yeah,
Jericho would have been great.
I hear you. I love Jericho. I'm just saying.
It just makes me so mad that that little move by Goldberg messed. What if? What if? Just saying, what if? What if Goldberg said, no, I don't want the money?
Yeah. I'm not going to take that millions of dollars, but no, I could do it. Not going
Anyway,
to take that WrestleMania payday.
the rest are all positive. I promise. All
I got
positive.
you. It's all good. You don't have to be. Don't have to be. Number 3, Chris Jericho. That Chris Jericho becomes the undisputed champion at Vengeance, defeating The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. You had Kurt Angle, Jericho, Rock, Austin. I think it was the first match was Rock, Angle, and second was Chris Jericho. No, it was Chris Jericho, The Rock, Kurt Angle, Austin. Austin beat Kurt Angle. Jericho beats The Rock. As soon as he pins The Rock, glass shatters. Here comes Austin. Of course, he had some interference there, but Chris Jericho wins. It becomes the first undisputed champion in WWE history. Shocking, because when you have people like The Rock and Austin there, it's like, how does that happen? But he did it, and he was great at it. He was fun. I enjoyed him as champion. The feuds he was having. He was such an arrogant prick, and then pair him up with Stephanie McMahon, and then you had the feud with Triple H, which obviously was, of course, the payoff wasn't great in WrestleMania 18, but still, to me, that was one of the most shocking victories just because of who was on that little tournament, that 4-man tournament.
Yes.
Jericho probably would have been, I think I would have put Jericho in 4th. Austin, Rock, Angle, Jericho. But Jericho, for what he did and what he was and what he came from, Lionheart Jericho in WCW, Monday Night Jericho on WWF, all that time, that's another guy where you're like, could he become champion? You would, man, it'd be cool to see him, but can he really get on top over all these other guys? And they did. They put it, and guess what? It wasn't a one-off. He had multiple titles after that. He obviously he did great because guess what? Yep. McMahon kept giving it to him. So this was not planned. You were giving Jericho a lot of flowers and pissed off that he didn't get his opportunity at WrestleMania, but he whatever Goldberg was, whatever any of those guys were, they never were the first undisputed champion. It was Chris Jericho.
That's right. Darn right. And I messed up my list. It was Goldberg and KO was supposed to be 2 because I was that passionately mad about it. I was just really mad at you. Talked about Goldberg. I had to keep on going off on Goldberg, but we won't talk about Goldberg anymore. That was supposed to be number 2. So we'll go back to number 3 real quick. A positive one. This is the Yes Movement. Daniel Bryan against Batista and Randy Orton, because that's the way they were going, was just Randy Orton, Batista. Again, Vince was only booking for himself or what he thought was the best. Wasn't quite there yet. We demanded. That's the first time I can remember the fan base demanding something and actually getting their way. It's the first time I remember in a long time, and I'm surprised they did it with Daniel Bryan. When he had to go against Triple H earlier in that night and then go against Batista and Randy Orton, that's when I realized he was winning the title, when he had to go against Triple H first.
Yeah.
So that wasn't like when we got to the show, it wasn't shocking. It's just the fact that they finally listened to us as a fan base.
Because I agree with you. When I did see that part, I was like, I don't know if I'd count that a shock, because I think we all saw the writing on the wall up to that point. When they finally gave in and said, okay, Triple H first, Daniel Bryan for a chance to fight for the main event, the title, and you're like, okay, after he won, it's like, for sure, we know where this is going.
Yes.
It's still cool. It was still an awesome moment. But shocking for the fans that the Vince McMahon actually led to it. Number 2 for me is the IC title, and you brought him up earlier. You brought it up earlier in the show. Santino Marella beating Umaga. He was a fan in the audience. McMahon had the bald phase. It was ECW guy at that point, and he called Santino Marella out of the ring. He's like, I'm gonna give you a chance. You're gonna face Umaga for the IC title. And he, of course, interference by Bobby Lashley, but defeats Umaga. One of the legit, I wish he had a world title run, one of the legit monsters of WWE at that time. And for a short amount of time, he still is to this day. I love playing with Umaga in the game. He's a monster.
Yeah, he's a tank.
But that was shocking. It was like, who the hell is this guy? And Santino Marella, it was fun. Following that, he was a fun, he was never like you never took him seriously. But when he came on, he was entertaining. What was WWE was what McMahon loved about WWE was the entertainment factor of it.
Yep.
Number 2 for you, or did we do number 2?
I'll throw in also ran in actually Santino winning the first ever Miss WrestleMania. That was a shock to me. I didn't think Santino was going to win that one. Just
there you go.
Throwing it out there.
There you go.
So my number 1, we're into my number 1, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we gotta be at my number one. So my number one, getting back to the list right here. Sorry guys, it's easily the this could be the best. Not even shocking. This could just be the best title change of all time. Because it's the first time ever older Josh, a Josh of not youth anymore, a Josh that is smart to the business, did not know CM Punk re-signed before TLC in Chicago against John Cena when he won that title and took it like he said he was going to do. I was like, are you serious? Did CM Punk just literally did he just go into business for? That's how much of a mark I was. He went in for the business for himself. Like he legit did it and said, "I'm just leaving. I quit." I was such a mark, and it was so shocking to me. And to see everything that comes out of it, this to me, hands down, no one saw this coming. The theme, the scene, the city, the blowing the kiss, everything worked. This might be the best title change of all time. And that's just coming to my head right now. Could you think of a better one?
I think the reason why that came off so well is because we had the promo, the shoot promo, the pipe bomb, because it really left you wondering. Like you could see it, you could see where CM Punk could come out of it, but you were you weren't sure, and you're like, but I don't think they're really going to do this. I mean that pipe bomb seemed too real. They cut off his mic. That's what was great about WWE is the reality part of it. You didn't know, and then when CM Punk won, you still kind of was like, wait a second. It still was a whoa, wait a second. Did they just do this? And they did. I wouldn't say mine is not greater. I'd say it's probably one of the most shocking, if not the most shocking. Because again, I mean, you talked about it earlier. You brought up his name. Jinder Mahal beating Randy Orton for the WWE title at Backlash. I mean, what? First of all, old school style type of heel. Kudos to Jinder Mahal for what he was and what he became. I mean, Drew McIntyre and him are close. Obviously, they were the three-man band, right? I mean, the development he had physically and as a character, but to be able for that quick payoff to become the WWE champion and beat one of the greatest of all time in Randy Orton, to me, that was shocking. No one saw that coming. That's, again, one of those, this will just be one of those stepping stool matches, give Randy Orton no, he beat him and then he held it. So that was for sure one of the most shocking. And, again, Jinder Mahal defeating Randy Orton, Santino number 2, Jericho 3, undisputed champion Nash, and then Eddie. So just to quickly recap before we wrap up, this was Josh's top 5. Josh, you could quickly run these through as they go on here.
All right. We got, of course, Zack Ryder, woo, winning the IC title, WrestleMania, going into the Fiend getting just straight up buried. Just disaster. All right, then we got the Yes Move. Let's see, happy. I'm a happy, sad. Then we're back to sad times. Oh, what a disaster that was. Goldberg. And of course, the kiss heard around the world. CM Punk wins that title. He's out of there. I'm such a mark, dude.
I remember that was great. You were like,
yeah, see, I went up and down. Evan flows, baby. See, I know how to work the system. I know how to tell a story.
And for me, my top 5 right there, and this was one of my honorable mentions up there in the picture, but my top 5, of course, JBL beating Eddie Guerrero at Judgment Day. You got Kevin Nash beating Goldberg in the undefeated streak, winning the WCW title. Chris Jericho beating The Rock and Steve Austin to be the first undisputed champion. Santino Marella defeating Umaga for the IC title. And then Jinder freaking Mahal beating Randy Orton for the WWE title. Those are my top 5 most shocking moments, title changes in wrestling history. Josh, man, that was fun. Yeah. That was a fun wrap up. And let me ask you this very quick, and we'll wrap this up. But were mine obvious answers?
I think all of ours were. I think we all had obvious answers
because they were all shocking ones.
On your list?
Yeah.
No, they were all right.
Okay.
No, cool. They were all right there, and I'm pretty sure like you thought mine weren't, because I'm always the kind of guy who goes, I to the other side. If everyone's going right, I go left. You zig, I zag. So I like to throw in some different ones in there that just made young Josh.
There you go.
And even old Josh a little bit surprised.
There you go. All right. Well, hey guys. That's Josh Kimmel. I'm Bobby Melendez. We'll be back Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. we'll talk about a new list that just popped up. Josh sent to me. I guess this is a spoiler, but Dominic Mysterio topping the ESPN's 30 under 30 wrestlers list. Not gonna spoil it. We'll get to it. But until then, we'll see you guys next time. Appreciate you tuning in.